Week 7 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few wide receivers. I have his sleeper options this week. People Jones of the Cleveland Browns. So over the last few weeks here, he's been quietly putting up decent PPR numbers, is Donovan People-Jones. And this week, he's got a good matchup at division rival, the Baltimore Ravens, that give up the fourth most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. So the last few weeks here for People-Jones, week 4 at Atlanta, 5 catches, 71 yards on 9 targets. Week 5 versus the Chargers, 4 catches, 50 yards on 7 targets. And then week 6 versus the Patriots, 4 catches, 74 yards. So right here, pretty decent numbers over the last few weeks. He's getting a lot of targets, no doubt about it, is People-Jones, with 21 targets in the last 3 games, and with a good matchup here, and in a game where they could be chasing points here. I like him as a sleeper option, and he's still available right now in 81% of fantasy leagues. The next wide receivers were Dolly Robinson of the New York Giants. I've mentioned him a lot this week here, a guy to pick up early in the week, and a guy also now as a sleeper option is Robinson, still out there in 75% of leagues, and this Giant team don't have many weapons at receiver. Kadarius Toney so far, and Kenny Golladay haven't practiced this week, and they're in the doghouse anyway. And Richie James Jr. and Darius Slayton aren't really competition, in my opinion, for playing time at wide receiver over there in New York. So without Robinson last week, he came back and he had a good ball game. 3 catches, 37 yards, a touchdown on 4 targets. And this week here, pretty good matchup at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So right now, available in tons of fantasy leagues, could potentially be the Giants' #1 wide receiver. And with rookie wide receivers, it's sky's the limit for them because you don't know what they're going to do compared to a veteran. So right here with a decent matchup and a guy who's going to see some playing time is one of the only healthy wide receivers on this team that can make an impact. He's definitely a sleeper option this week. And the third and final wide receiver I have as a sleeper is Taekwon Thornton of the New England Patriots. So he was a decent pickup this week on the wire, added in 9% of fantasy leagues, and another rookie as well. So he made his debut in week 5 versus Detroit. Didn't see much work. 2 catches, 7 yards on 3 targets. But last week at Cleveland, they were using him as a gadget guy in a way as well. And he's one of the quicker players in the league already as Thornton. So last week at Cleveland, 3 carries, 16 yards, got a rushing touchdown, and 4 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. So that speed came in handy. He's been getting more snaps. And right here this week on Monday Night Football versus the Bears, I think we could see some snaps here for Thornton once again. I'm not saying go out there and throw him into the fire right away, but with a lot of bye weeks and deeper 3 wide receiver flex leagues here, I think he's a usable option. And after coming off a 21-point fantasy game, he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on, available in 90% of fantasy leagues. That's a few wide receivers I have as sleepers for week 7 of the fantasy football season.